What's going on, guys? My name is D'Anthony with Evolution Traders, and in this video we're going to be going over some technical analysis, kind of looking at the markets, because there is a little bit of a double top that we're coming into, going all the way back to 2021. So I had to find this by going to the weekly chart, going all the way back to 2021. You can actually see back in October, November, December, we put in these highs of around 408.71. Okay. And we obviously know what happened in 2022. We took a little bit of a spill, right? We had a little bit of a down year in 2022, and then we went into some consolidation. We went into some distribution, and to open up 2023, it's essentially been nothing but a bull party, right? So if you haven't been making money to the long side this year, the train has kind of left you, but it doesn't mean that it's gone forever. So what I want to look at here is I want to be aware, right? For all day traders, for all scalpers, swing traders, the market's been on a fantastic run since the end of October. Okay, so the end of October, if you just look at the weekly chart, we're on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 weeks now run higher. So we're almost at 2 months of price action moving higher. So if you haven't been making money to the long side and you've been trying to call the top, you've been trying to short, you've been trying to wait for this pullback that, it seems like it's nowhere in sight, bear with the market a little bit. It could be happening, but again, we still have to continue to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt. Because if you don't give them the benefit of the doubt and you constantly come into the market thinking that it can't go higher, the market is going to prove to you that it can go higher. So just wait. You're going to get a pullback. You're going to get an opportunity to short the market. You're going to get an opportunity to play some of these stocks and some of these indexes or futures into rising support. But you need to be patient, okay? So for all of the long-sided traders, for all of the bulls, if we start to break out over 408.71, this is going to be huge, right? You could put in another leg up before it pulls back. So on the weekly time frame, what we're going to be looking at, especially focus on this week going into the holiday weekend, is do we put in a top over this 409? If we can get over this 409, you could maybe see this market stretch another $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 before the end of the year. Now, again, we could start the year with a little bit of a back test, which is going to be fine. Bulls are still in control. Realistically, the bulls would have to lose, 350, or they would have to lose 380, right? I mean, let's work in baby steps here. Under 380 definitely has some room down. If we go to the daily chart and we look at the daily chart on the NASDAQ, notice how we're over all of this junk here. Now, before anyone starts to say you got too much crap on your charts, don't worry about it, right? Don't you worry about your charts. Let me worry about my charts. So I've got support here sitting at 403. I've got support sitting at 400. I don't really see any type of break downtrend, break in this uptrend until we lose the 20-day moving average that's sitting at 393. So between 393s has room down to 380 and 376, and the bulls are in full control until they lose the 50-day moving average. Things can get a little slippery if we lose the 20-day moving average, but the bulls really lose control if they lose the 50, and that's below 376, okay? So until then, it's still a continuous buy the dip kind of thing, but it's turning into a little bit more of a stock pickers market. So what does that mean? A stock pickers market, meaning that you're getting a little bit of a disconnect on a day in and day out basis. Like, for example, today, Amazon had a great day. Netflix got upgraded, had a great day. Meta had a great day. But then you have some names that are down, right? You had some names that are down. So if you look at something like Apple, right? Apple's down, right? Did come into rising support, but it was down today. If you look at something like Tesla, it really hasn't done anything in a while. It kind of got that breakout a few days ago, but it's coming back down, right? So it opened up higher and closed lower today. So you're having a little bit of a disconnect. Google had a really good day today. If you look at the daily candle, kind of broke out here on the daily time frame, but you have some names that didn't look good today, right? So when you start to get this little bit of a disconnect, you look over at some of the names that are in the Dow, right? So some of those Dow names have absolutely been running, like your Caterpillar, and your Boeing was running, and these off the wall names, these old school names, they had a good run. But if you look at some of the financials, they're starting to pull back right now. So some of the financials have also had a little bit of a pop, and then you can kind of see this reversal starting on their daily charts. So there's a little bit of a disconnect. There's still some stocks out there coming from the bottom that look great long. There's some stocks that also look tired. So when you start to get that disconnect where, you got a basket full of stocks looking tired, ready to pull back, and you got a basket full of stocks that are still pushing higher, it makes for a little bit of a confusing market and a stock picker's market. So I would expect the market to kind of start to slow down going into the end of the year, ranges to contract. You're going to have big money going on vacation and taking off and, just kind of getting away and spending time with the family, spending time with friends, or doing whatever, right? Getting out of the office, period, taking their money elsewhere, So definitely as we come into the end of the year, keep an eye on that triple Qs, which is a NASDAQ 100. Keep an eye on that 408, right? So that 408 level is going to be a huge level. Now, let's say the bulls want to continue to charge into 2024. I have our next supply zone on a daily time frame sitting at 420. Okay, so if we start to push and we really get an aggressive 1, 2, 3 week push, I don't know how much more aggressive it can get because it's been pretty aggressive going back to when we broke this previous swing high over 390s. It's been pretty aggressive, right? The last aggressiveness was when we had this gap up, and then the start of the aggression started when we reclaimed the 50-day moving average, and that was all the way down at 364. So the market's been aggressive, don't get me wrong, but you can have one of those last hoorahs, right? That last breath that, where the market really pushes higher. So again, just kind of keep that in mind. Again, depending on the time frame that you trade, you're going to have supply zones in different areas. You can see on a 4-hour chart, you've got a supply zone sitting at 409, 410. So let's say tomorrow we run into 409, 410, we put in a high and we start to pull back. Well, then obviously we would have to confirm that high over 409, 410 before we get that, breath higher into maybe potentially 420. Again, don't quote me, but maybe. Or it could be the start of a back test. But if it's the start of a back test, you're going to need to at least, right, guys, before you start to short, the Qs are going to need to at least lose the 5-day moving average. So look at it like this. Your 5-day moving average is your nearest shortest term sentiment. Whoever is in control of the 5-day moving average, typically, even if it's a red day or even if it's a pullback day, typically has control. So if you look at the bulls have been over the 5-day moving average since the 7th. We are now going into the 19th. They have had control. It has been a power trend higher. We have not even back tested our 10-day moving average in quite some time, going all the way back to the 6th, right? And so if I go back to 6th, that was the last time that we kind of back tested the 10 and 20-day moving average. So we could be due for a pullback, and I would like to see a pullback, but I don't want to get crazy and start to short in thinking that this is the top, only to see a little bit of a pullback into rising daily support and then bounce, and then me get smoked because the market wants to continue to push higher. So what I'll do is I'll wait for a close below the 5-day moving average. There's going to be room to the linear regression at 400, and anything below the 400 linear regression of 400 can come down to 397. Now this little upspell, this little uptick, this little trend that we're on right now for the past couple weeks does not get invalidated until we lose 393, 392. So we're a ways away from that. So again, right now is still buy the dip opportunities on some of the strong names that are the first ones to pull back into rising support. Does that make sense? So if Apple's pulling back, if some of these other names are, let me find another one, right? Let me find another one. AMD was strong and AMD is pulling back. So if AMD pulls back into the 10-day moving average at 132, 133, that might be an opportunity to go long again if the market is also continuing just to drift higher, right? So again, this uptrend on AMD doesn't get broken until we lose 125, 124. So you can see on the chart, it's getting wicky. It's getting toppy. It looks like it wants to pull back. If you're an aggressive scalper or a short-term day trader, there's opportunities for you to short into support. Like take a look at the last 2 days on AMD. Look at the low wicks, 137.50. If we were to lose that, potentially we can come down here and test this channel at 135.50. So you can make $1 here, $2 there on a down move. If we start to confirm that, well, the next support you have is 132. So you can definitely make money. It doesn't mean though to put on a short position now at 138 thinking that you're going to back test 120. It could happen, but I'm just saying you don't want to think that only to have it come into 132 and then springboard, jump off the trampoline and start taking out highs again, right? So as long as the bulls are still in control of the NASDAQ, of the triple Qs, they're still in control of that 20 and 50-day moving average on their daily time frame, you still have to respect the bulls and give them the benefit of the doubt. Again, make this very clear. It doesn't mean that you can't find an opportunity to take a short for a scalp or a day trade, of course. But when you're in an uptrend and you're above supply, you want to make sure you're thinking about getting in, getting green, getting out, because those pullbacks can stop at any time. It doesn't have to get to support. That's the difference when you're oversupply. Now, if you're under supply, meaning you're under these moving averages, you're under the 10, the 20, the 50, then typically when you lose the level, it gravitates to the next level. And when it bounces, it starts to bounce, but stops anywhere, right? It just stops anywhere. It's random. And then it comes back down again. So just make sure you're on the right side of the market. Make sure you're being protective. Also, make sure you guys, as you ease into the end of the year, you're not 5 years old. You don't need to run to the market every morning looking for the hot stock of the day, trying to trade everything off the bell. What I need you guys to do is be more patient and practice discipline and practice patience and learn technical analysis and to allow the setups to come to you and don't force the setups. Right? Looking to force setups is going to get you killed. It's going to get you absolutely destroyed. Allow the trades to come to you. When the trades come, it's going to be so clear that it's here. But when you're like trying to search for, should I balance here? Should I go short? Should I start my short position here? You're guessing. This is not a guessing business. This is the execution business. This is the, the technical business. This is a serious business. This is not, you want to gamble, go to Vegas, go to Atlantic City, go to a casino and go put $1,000 on red or black. You're going to have better odds there, right? So again, allow the trades to come to you, be patient, be mindful of where we're at on the daily time frame. Be mindful that it's a stock picker's market, because although the market is still strong, you have stocks that are pulling back and you have other stocks that are still breaking out. So it's a stock picker's market because you want to wait for the stocks that are pulling back to come into support and then go long, or take those little short scalps on them into support, or you want to catch those stocks that are still continuing to break out over a previous day channel and taking them into their next level of supply. I hope that makes sense. But again, good luck to everyone. I hope you guys had a fantastic year. If you didn't, I hope you learned a lot. I hope you're putting the effort forward to getting better at this craft and this skill set, because it is a very lucrative skill set once you start understanding the emotions and the mindset and technicals, and you start putting everything together and you start being patient and practicing the discipline on a day-to-day basis and journaling your trades and trading the same names. A lot of this basic stuff, fundamental stuff that people don't actually spend a lot of time on, because everyone wants to just wake up, put on the charts and take the first thing that goes green or red. That's not how you're going to make money long term. That's not how you're going to keep the lights on. How you are personally going to keep the lights on is by being and doing what everyone else is not doing. What everyone's doing right now is over leveraging and over trading and trying to pick the top of this market. And that's kind of what's been happening, is people are picking the tops and they're continuously getting squeezed out of that position. So if you truly want the market to come down, stop trying to short now. Just allow it to come down organically, and then you're going to find those channels that are going to open up so you can make some money on them. Hope that video makes sense. If you like the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch all of you guys on the next time. If I don't see you guys, I'll see you guys all again in 2024.